I have to have this muted for the time being because they're playing some really dumb music, and I'll get copyrighted. So there's a good chance that she is going to be dropping out, and so this should be interesting. Since I'm also streaming to uh, YouTube, I have to have it muted until they stop playing this ridiculous music. She could be dropping out. She could also, it's a state of the union, or it's not state of the union, but it's a state of the race address. She could just be going on here and saying, "This is ridiculous. Trump is going to trial on March 25th in New York. He needs to drop out because in all likelihood he's going to be found guilty." I mean, who knows? She could be trying to just boister the idea that she can win, that this race is technically over, that you should be voting for someone that's likely going to be found guilty, or she could be just like, "We have determined that there is no path forward by which we can win." It could literally be anything. She could be finally willing to admit that she can't win. I wish I could play the music, but I'm on YouTube and I can't. But it's rocking. I can tell you that. It's good. It's good stuff. It's good music. I'm gonna turn myself down just a little bit. I mean, as far as I can tell, according to the polls, she should definitely drop out. I mean, my mom kind of mentioned something interesting, like, I get the idea that her home state, she wants to try to stay in, and she likes the idea of going and campaigning there and getting the support of her home state. But if all your internal polling is saying that you're dead in the water, then like, why would you want to keep it going? That doesn't make sense. If yeah, it's like if your internal polling is not telling that you stand a chance in hell. So we'll see what happens here. It's now 2 minutes and she is late. What would you do if you were Nikki Haley? Would you stay or would you go? I keep streaming to Twitch in hopes that or not Twitch, but Kick. I keep streaming to Kick in hopes that people will tune in, and yeah, it doesn't happen. Oh well. Oh well, wait! Oh, they just introduced her as the next president of the United States. Oh, so this is not a concession speech. She's no snap.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, they said. I had it muted. I didn't even mute it in time.
Thank
That's
you.
exactly what they said. Holy
Thank you
crap.
all for being here. It's another great day in South Carolina, and we're hoping for an even better day on Saturday. Early voting is underway. I have a quick reminder to all South Carolinians. In a general election, you're given a choice. In a primary, you make your choice. Make sure you make the right choice.
Oh, she's...
Make your voices heard today, tomorrow, and on
She
Saturday.
isn't withdrawing. They just said that,
Some
ladies and
of
gentlemen,
you,
the next president of
perhaps
the
a
United
few of you in
States.
the media, came here today to see if I'm dropping out of the race. Well, I'm not.
Twitter had it wrong. Oh, snap.
Far from it, and I'm here to tell you why. I'm running for president because we have a country to save.
And you
Since
ain't
the
the
start of
saver,
my
bitch.
campaign,
Sorry.
I've been focused on the real issues our country faces, the ones that determine whether America will thrive or spiral out.
We'll
I'm
spiral
talking
out
about the
because you'll
millions
send
of
us to every
students who don't know
damn
how
place
to
in the,
read or
in the
do
world to
basic
fight their
math,
wars.
the families who can't afford groceries, much less a first home, the total lawlessness on our southern border. I'm talking about the murders in our cities, the fentanyl on our streets, the children who've been killed in their mom's car by stray bullets. And I'm talking about the American weakness that
You're
led
doing
to
this
wars in
in
Europe
a last-ditch
and the
effort to
Middle
try to
East,
save your
and
campaign.
the urgent need to restore our strength before war spreads and draws America further in. These are the challenges I'm here to tackle. But instead of focusing on how to make America stronger tomorrow, some people want to know if I'm going to cave today. We've all heard the calls for me to drop out. We all know where they're coming from. The political elite, the party bosses, the cheerleaders in the commentator world. The argument is familiar. They say I haven't won a state, that my path to victory is slim. They point to the primary polls and say I'm only delaying the inevitable. Why keep fighting
I am
when
not
the battle
streaming
was
normal like
apparently
I'm
over
supposed to be.
after
So
Iowa?
we're
Look,
just gonna go ahead and
I get it.
normal stream.
In politics, the herd mentality is enormously strong. A lot of Republican politicians have surrendered to it. The pressure on them was way too much. They didn't want to be left out of the club. Of course, many of the same politicians who now publicly embrace Trump privately dread him. They know what a disaster he's been and will continue to be for our party. They're just too afraid to say it out loud. Well, I'm not afraid to say the hard truths out loud. I feel no need to kiss the ring. I have no fear of Trump's retribution. I'm not looking for anything from him. My own political future is of zero concern. So I hear what the political class says, but I hear from the American people too. I've heard from a retired Army medic who looked evil in the eye when he says we're headed toward disaster, that American lives are on the line. He knows what he's talking about. He knows we can't afford more of the same. That's why he told me to give him hell. I've heard from a mom who promised to email me every day, and she does. She just wants a return to normalcy. She wants me to keep running for the sake of her 4-year-old son. She hopes he'll see the, quote, America she grew up in. An America that's strong and proud and united in purpose.
I say release these
And
fucking
I've heard
emails
from a
if
high
they
school student
exist.
who just last week came to hear me speak. She asked me to sign a note to her teacher explaining her
Redact the
absence.
personal information.
After growing up amid the chaos and anger of the last few years, she finally has hope that America will make it if we make the right choice. I'm constantly hearing from Americans like these, hundreds a day, thousands a week, and hundreds of thousands since I declared my candidacy.
I mean,
They
it's
see
possible.
the same polls as me, but more importantly, they have the same belief as me. They believe in America. They believe America can do so much better, that we must do better. And they know when the country's future is on the line, you don't drop out. You keep fighting. In fact, you fight harder than ever. That's why I refuse to quit. South Carolina will vote on Saturday, but on Sunday, I'll still be running for president. I'm not going anywhere. I'm campaigning every day until the last person votes, because I believe in a better America and a brighter future for our kids. Nothing good in life comes easy. I'm willing to take the cuts, the bruises, and the name calling, because the only way you get to the blessing is by going through the pain. Dropping out would be the easy route.
Yeah,
Never
that's
taken
what you
the
should
easy
do.
route. I've been the underdog in every race I've ever run. I've always been David, taking on Goliath. And like David, I'm not just fighting someone bigger than me. I'm fighting for something bigger than myself. I'm used to people questioning my intentions, so I'll make a few things clear. Some people used to say I was running because I really wanted to be vice president. I think I've pretty well settled that question. Other people say I'm trying to set up a future presidential run. How does that even work? If I was running for a bogus reason, I would have dropped out a long time ago. The rest of the fellas already did that. They have their own plans. I don't judge them, but I'm still here. I'm fighting for what I know is right, and I don't care what the party leaders and political elites want. I'll keep fighting until the American people close the door. That day is not today, and it won't be on Saturday, not by a long shot. The presidential primaries have barely begun. Just 3 states have voted. 3. That's it. After this weekend, we'll be at 4. That's not a lot. In the 10 days after South Carolina, another 21 states and territories will vote. People have a right to have their voices heard. And they deserve a real choice, not a Soviet-style election where there's only one candidate and he gets 99% of the vote.
Oh,
We don't anoint kings in this country. We
no
have
one's
elections.
anointed him king.
And Donald Trump, of all people, should know we don't rig elections.
No one has anointed him king, bitch.
Americans of every belief and background are tired of our national mess. They don't want more chaos and craziness. They worry about a national collapse. If I weren't in the race, we'd be reading the exact same storyline every day until November 5th. There would be widespread reports of Americans suffering from a bad case of Biden-Trump fatigue. And it would be true. A stunning 70% of the country doesn't want a Biden-Trump rematch. The majority of Americans don't just dislike one candidate, they dislike both. As a country, we've never seen such dissatisfaction with the leading candidates. We've never had so many Americans mired in pessimism and division. We still have a chance to restore their faith. I will fight as long as that chance exists. Now, I know what Donald Trump is saying. He wants an election with no opponent. But that's not what the voters are saying. Despite being a de facto incumbent, Donald Trump lost
She is desperately trying
49% of the vote in Iowa.
to save her.
In New Hampshire, Trump
Her
lost
campaign right now.
46% of the vote. That's not good. We're talking about almost half of our voters. What does it say about an incumbent who's losing nearly half of his party? It spells disaster in November. We shouldn't silence those voters like Trump wants.
Boy.
They have the right to keep speaking out.
No one's trying to
Trump
silence
sees
them.
this. That's why he and his allies are now trying a different tack.
They have every
They're
right to
saying,
speak
I'm
out.
helping Joe Biden by staying in.
And they could, well within their right to decide that when the election comes around that they don't want to vote
First
for him.
things first, Joe Biden is doing more damage to himself than any Republican ever could. Every time he opens his mouth, he sounds like his mind is closing up shop. The Democrats are getting weaker by holding a coronation for Biden. Republicans will get stronger through a vigorous competition. We have plenty of time to hash this out. If the race ended today, we would have the longest general election in history. There are still 8.5 months before Election Day. Do we really want to spend every day from now until November watching America's two most disliked politicians duke it out?
Oh, God. That is a bullshit
sane
lie that he is
person
the
wants
most
that.
disliked politician.
But
He's
there's
a
another
stupid
reason
idiot
Trump is
woman.
wrong. At the end of the day, the only candidate who's helping Joe Biden is Donald Trump. Because Trump is the only Republican Biden can beat. The Democrats know it. They don't even try and conceal it. They don't even try to conceal the glee at the prospect of running against Trump. They want to win. So they want the guy they've already beaten time and again. Trump knows it too, but he won't admit it. True to form, he's taking out his anger on others. He's getting meaner and more offensive by the day.
Oh.
He's trying to bully me and anyone who supports me. He says they'll be barred from MAGA.
Oh no! Trump criticized me. He's
That's
bullying
not
me.
the way you win elections. Well, I've dealt with bullies my entire life. They don't intimidate me. They only motivate me further. And I've never met a bully I couldn't take on.
Oh, God.
There are those who will try and paint me as never Trump. That's not who I am.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
have been.
bullshit.
I supported Trump in 2016 and in 2020. I was proud to serve America in his cabinet. My purpose has never been to stop Trump at all costs.
Bullshit.
Like most Americans, I have a handful of serious concerns about the former president. But I have countless serious concerns about the current president. Joe Biden has turned our country upside down.
How many people are even there at this
It's not
conference?
normal
Press
for
conference. Is it like
millions of
5?
migrants to illegally cross our border without being stopped.
It's like
It's
the
not
most
normal for our
unenthusiastic
schools to be
clapping that I've
more
ever
focused
heard.
on gender pronouns than reading and math. It's not normal to have skyrocketing prices and soaring crime. And it's not normal to have wars raging in Europe and the Middle East. All of that is on Joe Biden. But he's not the only one who's replaced normalcy with chaos. Donald Trump has done that too. It's not normal to insult our military heroes and veterans.
I've heard a lot that didn't happen the way that everybody claims that it did. It just stopped.
It's not normal to spend $50 million in campaign contributions on personal court cases. It's not normal to threaten people who back your opponent. And it's not normal to call on Russia to invade NATO countries. Donald Trump has done all of that and more in just the past month. Look, I've said it many times. I think Donald Trump was the right president at the right time. But times change, and so has Trump. He's gotten more unstable and unhinged. He spends more time in courtrooms than he does on the campaign trail.
And whose fault is that?
He's completely
Whose
distracted.
fault is it that he has to spend more time in the fucking courtroom?
Is about
Stupid
him.
woman.
He's so obsessed with his own demons from the past, he can't focus on delivering the future Americans deserve.
Oh, God.
We have two hugely flawed candidates in Biden and Trump. Americans know it. They've been saying it for years, and we all know why. Trump and Biden are two old men who are only getting older. Nearly 60% of Americans say Trump and Biden are both.
You're doing this press conference because you're
Because
down in
they
the
are.
polls and you
We've all
know
seen
that
them
you're not
fumble
going to
their
win.
words and get confused about world leaders.
You
That's
know you're not going to
who
win
we
your
want
fucking
in the
home
Oval
state. That's
Office
all this
when
is.
Russia launches a nuclear weapon at our satellites or China shuts down our electricity.
Oh my God. You actually believe that bullshit?
We're talking about
they have
the
a
most
nuclear weapon.
demanding
Oh.
job in human history.
Oh, for the love of God.
You don't give it to someone who's at risk of dementia. You give it to someone who's disciplined, someone who can work day and night for 8 straight years.
Oh,
No
you mean that
vendettas,
someone that's going to rush
no
to send
drama,
our troops to war
just
like you will?
results.
No, thank you. Wednesday, it's amazing that Biden has not sent our troops.
Even
That's the
if
only
Trump
small
and Biden
miracle that we
weren't
have
too
here.
old, and
It's been
again
our
they
money
are,
and not our men and women.
Americans still oppose them because they know what they'll do. They've already done tremendous damage, and they're just getting started. Biden has crippled families with years of inflation. He's put welfare over work and doled out more corporate welfare than any president ever. Meanwhile, Trump added more to the national debt than any president in history. And it wasn't because of COVID, no matter how many times he tries that excuse. Now he wants to put a 10% tax hike on every single American. Just like Biden, Trump will devastate families and destroy good-paying jobs.
That's the first I've heard that.
We need to shift our economy into overdrive, not reverse. Most importantly, we need a president who protects America. Biden has failed this basic duty. As commander-in-chief, he tried to cut the military. He's made us weaker while our enemies get stronger. He withdrew from Afghanistan in a way that encouraged our enemies to do whatever they want. 3 years later, Russia has invaded Ukraine. Hamas has murdered Israeli women and children in their beds. China is launching unprecedented cyber attacks on American infrastructure. Iran is killing American soldiers. At the same time, Donald Trump has plenty of his own problems on national security. He's all but said he's going to abandon Ukraine. That's a massive gift to Vladimir Putin. Now Trump is inviting Putin to invade NATO countries. Those are the same countries
I have questions about
that
what it was
stood
that
with
he was
us
actually saying.
after September 11th.
But, you know.
Of course we should ask them to pay more. We should demand it. But abandoning them will only bring more war. Putin is already planning his next
It will
move.
bring war
He's
that
eyeing
we get
our
involved
allies
in.
the Baltics.
That's all it'll
A
do.
Russian
We don't
attack
need to be involved
would
in that
put
war.
America
We don't need to.
at war. Russia isn't the only country that smells blood in the water. When the dictators in Iran, North Korea, and communist China see America step back, they rush into the breach. They think America's time has passed, and their time has come. The truth is, Americans already know what Joe Biden and Donald Trump will do, but we're just as concerned with who they are. They're dividers at a time when America desperately, urgently needs a uniter. All they do
I'm
is
sorry,
turn us
but
against
you're
each
not
other.
going to unite
Trump
us.
calls his fellow
Because no one
Americans
likes you.
vermin. Biden calls his fellow Americans fascist. Trump and Biden don't just demand that people pick sides. They demand that their followers hate the other side. Look where that's gotten us. Congress is too divided and broken to do its job. Families
I don't
won't
feel
even
that
talk
he's
to each other
demanding
at the
that
dinner
I
table.
hate anyone.
We're separating into opposing camps that view each other as un-American, if not downright evil. These are dangerous times. The most
Some of these
important thing
people
we
are
can do
evil.
is regain our focus
They
and
want
shared
kids
sense
to
of
be
purpose.
transitioned like
The worst
fucking
thing we
crazy.
can do is become even more distracted and divided. The reason I'm running, the reason I continue to run, is to remind everyone what it means to be an American. I'm the proud daughter of legal immigrants. I grew up as a brown girl
This
in a
stupid
black and
woman.
white world. I saw our state move beyond hatred and elect the first female minority governor in American history as a conservative Republican. And in just a few days, my parents are going to cast their vote for their daughter for President of the United States.
Sorry, but there is nothing in the polls that
I've thought
indicate
this
that you are
week
going to win
about what that means to
your
them,
home state.
but I know what it says about our country. In the America I
This
know
is
and
really,
love,
really
we
a
disagree strongly,
pathetic attempt on your
but
part.
we do it without hating each other and still have the same shared
That's
national
sad.
purpose. In the America I know and love, we respect freedom, the rule of law. We refuse to use the awesome power of big government to punish those we dislike. And we recognize that America has done more good for more people than any country in the world. It's not America first to withdraw from the world. It's not America first to praise dictators who want to kill Americans. It's not America first to bankrupt Social Security by doing nothing to fix it. And in fact, it's America last to keep losing one election after another to the socialist left. That's what we get with Donald Trump. I'm running for president to restore a country that's strong and proud. That is why I will stay in the race after South Carolina votes. And to my beloved fellow South Carolinians, I ask that you stand with me. Stand with your family, friends, and neighbors. See the America I see. And remember that we can still
The
unite
America
and move
you
forward
see is an
together.
all-out war with
Not
everyone.
with anger, not with fear, but with faith
And sending
hope.
our people
Like
to
we've
die in
done
other
before.
people's wars. That's the
Let's
America that
finally
you see.
leave the past behind, and let's forge a new American future. This vision has guided every generation.
You're doing this
It
because you
summoned
know
me
that
to
you're
serve
fucking
as
down in the
governor of
polls,
this
and you
great
know that
state,
you're not going to win
and as
your home
ambassador
state.
for
That's all
the
this is.
greatest country in the world. And that same vision called my husband to serve in the uniform of the United States. He's a major in the South Carolina Army National Guard. As I prepare for what lies ahead, Michael is at the forefront of my mind.
Joe Biden uses his dead son. My son,
I
Bo.
wish Michael was
My
here
son,
today.
Bo. My
And I wish our
husband
children
is serving overseas.
and I could see him tonight, but we can't.
Oh, God. You're gonna get emotional and cry, and you didn't know.
He's serving on
No,
the
just
other side of the
stop.
Where
Oh, my
conflict
God.
is the norm. Where terrorists hide among the innocent.
We
Where
can't have a
Iran's
leader that
terrorist
breaks down in
proxies
fucking tears.
are now attacking
I'm sorry,
American
we can't.
troops.
We
This
can't
is
do it.
Michael's second deployment. It was hard for us to say goodbye to him the first time when he deployed to Afghanistan. It was even harder last summer
Were you anxious for him to
deployed
leave
to
so that you could cheat on him? I don't know.
As
There's
every
rumors. Just
military
saying.
family knows, when a loved one deploys, we start the year-long prayer. It's a prayer for their safety more than anything else. But it's also a prayer of gratitude. The kids and I know why Michael went. He stepped up to keep us safe. And not just us. He stepped up to
I don't
defend
know. What
our
exactly is
nation's
he
freedom
doing overseas
and our way
that's
of
keeping
life.
us safe? I'm really curious about
Michael
that.
is fighting for the country he loves. So are
Because it seems
all
to
of
me
his
like he's
brothers
out
and
there
sisters
protecting
in
another
arms
country, but
wherever
is
they're
anything that he's
stationed
doing
in
actually
this
protecting
dangerous world.
us?
They have made their stand
It's a fair
because
question.
America is worth fighting and even dying for. Now I
Oh,
will
yes, I
continue to
agree.
make my
It's worth
stand
fighting and dying for,
because America
but not
is
necessarily
worth
in
living
Ukraine,
for.
or
Thank
even
you.
where it
God
is that your
bless you.
husband might
God
be.
bless South Carolina, and God bless America.
Oh my God. This speech is a speech given because she is fucking down in the floor. And you breaking down in tears is going to be like, hey, you need a woman that will rest. You're going to break down. There's no woman right here. No. No. You need a leader that's not going to break down. A leader that's bringing pressure. I'm sorry. No. Wow. Unbelievable. That was pretty pathetic. That's rest assured, you guys. All this was her trying to save what is left of her campaign. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Alright. Well, that's all we wrote. Oh, man. It's so sad to watch somebody trying so hard. Right now, the song that they're playing is all about that song. She was an American girl. This has been like their campaign theme song. So stupid. I've never heard more unenthusiastic. I've never heard more unenthusiastic clapping during an entire press conference in my life. It just sounded like there wasn't even 10 people there. Oh goodness. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Until next time. Bye.